Hey everybody, a little bit more Maniac and Magee today. We'll finish this up. We've only got 4 chapters left, so we'll read a couple right now. Read a couple on maybe the next video. Mm, yeah, we'll see. So, when we left off, chapter 42, Maniac and Magee had just taken Mars Bar Thompson to the McNabb's house to surprise the boys, Russell and Piper, for their birthday, to go to the birthday party. So let's get going. Here we go, chapter 42. George McNabb was the first to speak up. He was stretched out on the only new piece of furniture in the house, a tilt-back lounge chair. Said McNabb, "What's he doing here?" The awkward silence was followed. The awkward silence that followed was mercifully broken by Piper, tugging on Maniac's arm. "Where's my birthday present? What'd you get me?" Maniac pulled the present from his pocket. Piper exclaimed, "A watch!" "No," Maniac said, "a compass. It tells you which direction you're going." "Like to the ocean?" asked Russell. "The ocean, Mexico, anywhere in the world." "Only one thing." "What is it?" Maniac took the compass from Piper's hand. "I'm keeping it till school's over. If you go every day, both of you, then you can have it back and sail around the world." "On our raft!" "Is it a deal?" Russell and Piper and Maniac did a three-way high five. "It's a deal." George McNabb pulled himself up from the easy chair and shuffled into the kitchen. He wore bare-backed slippers over bare feet. His white ankles were dirty. He took a beer can from the fridge and headed for the steps. "Let me know when it leaves," he said, and went upstairs. Maniac could feel the voltage that surged through Mars Bar and crackled black lightning from his eyes. Quickly, he clapped his hands. "Hey, isn't this a party? Where's the games?" So they played games. Silly games, whose main objective was to be shrieking and screaming. Mars Bar allowed himself to be dragged into them, but his jaw was clenched and his eyes kept straying to the gaping hole in the ceiling, and to the cobras who were slouching against the walls and the baseboards, sipping beers and watching his every move. None of them had spoken since Mars and Maniac walked in. Of course, as far as little kids were concerned, the highlight of the whole party was not the birthday boy, Piper McNabb, but the McNabb's new pillbox. They found every excuse to stay inside. They fought over space at the narrow gunnery slots. When Mars Bar whispered to Maniac, "What is that?" Maniac said it was a bomb shelter. Then Russell called, "Let's play rebels. Whites in the pillbox, blacks outside." A cheer went up, and a dozen kids stampeded into the pillbox. They gabbled circle and cinder block walls and popped from the gunnery slots. "I'm gonna be white. I'm white. Me too. There's too many in here. We need more blacks." "Not me." "Not me." "We ain't got enough guns. The only ones with guns are in. The rest of you get out. You're black." "Give me a gun." "I had it first." "Come on, you meatballs. Blacks is the best part. You get a charge." "Yeah, we get to lose." "Look, you can use beer cans for grenades." "You can lob grenades." "Then you do it." "Well, somebody's got to be black, else we ain't playing. I'm counting. Time I hit 10, I want to see 5 of you out there. 1. Russell counted. No one came out. Not at 9, not at 10, not after 10. Maniac and Mars Bars stared in silence at the gunnery slots, where wide-opened eyes began to appear, one pair atop another. The 3 words that Mars Bar sneered, the joke that he spat out, "Yeah, bomb shelter," did not even have the moment for themselves, for just then another word, "Geronimo!" came plunging from the sky and landed with a floor-jarring, heart-stopping crash directly behind him. A cobra had jumped from the hole, a fat, red-haired cobra who was now rolling on the floor and laughing so hard, as were all of the cobras, that his face matched the color of his hair. You see him? You see him jump? I've never. You see his face? Somebody check his pants. Check out his drawers. Oh man. Oh. Maniac had to wrap Mars bars in a bear hug to keep him from charging the fat red roller. The laughter stopped, as if cut by scissors. Cobras were standing. John McNabb sauntered forward. You got a problem, Sonny? That wasn't funny, John, said Maniac. He could have been hurt. McNabb kept his eyes on Mars bar. I ain't talking to you, Magee. I'm talking to Sonny here. Don't like our parties, Sonny boy? Mars bar strained against Maniac's arms. You ain't got to worry about me coming to no more of your parties, fish belly. You ain't got to worry about me invading this piss hole. Anybody come to a block away, they faint from the smell. McNabb advanced. Maniac shouted, John, you owe me. I brought the boys back. McNabb took another step, then stayed. The cobras stayed, and Maniac, clamping the struggling Mars bar for dear life, lugged him down a gauntlet of seething eyes to the door and the street. Mars bar wrenched free and stomped on ahead. Maniac followed. It was almost black. High above, the streetlights were buzzing on, one by one. After several blocks, Mars bar wheeled. You suckered me. You softened me up with them pick peoples, then bring me here. What do you think? I was gonna cry? Okay, I come over. I did it. It's done. Don't you be coming around no more. You hear me, fish? 'Cause you ain't only seen me half bad yet. He turned and headed due east. Maniac walked another way. It was a good question. What had he thought? What had he expected? Miracle? Well, come to think of it, maybe one had happened. While he was looking for one miracle, maybe another had snuck up on him. It happened as he was clamping and lugging Mars bars down the gauntlet of cobras, trying to keep him alive. And what was Mars bar doing? Fighting him. Maniac, straining to get loose and bust some cobras. Outnumbered, outweighed, but not outhearted. That's when Maniac felt it. Pride. For this East End warrior whom Maniac could feel trembling in his arms, scared as any normal kid would be, but not showing it to them. Yeah, you're bad, all right, Mars bar. You're more than bad. You're good. Maniac stopped. He'd been walking in circles. It was dark. He turned one way, then another, then for the briefest moment, thinking to go home. Thinking, it's time to go home now. And remembering that once again, he had no home to go to. Chapter 43. He slept in the park that night for the next dozen or so. Sometimes in the buffalo shed, and other times in the bandshell benches or on the pavilion. The nights were warm now. June was on the way. He ate when and where he could, for apples and carrots and day-old hamburger buns couldn't beat the deer and buffalo pens. Then a new Acme had opened, and the bakery section always had a tray of free samples sitting on the counter. And then there were always the Pickwells. It may have been an illusion, but it seemed that the hungrier he got, the farther Mrs. Pickwell's whistle traveled. Some dinner times, there was hardly a spot in town from which you could not hear it. He read in the library. He joined pickup games at the park, baseball, basketball. School was letting out. There were more kids. Mornings were best. He would rise with the sun's color, before the sun itself, before the bison, and set out. He came to think of these apple skin hours as his special time with the town. There was not a street or alleyway or house or store, not even a garage, that he did not recognize. His footsteps fell everywhere, but on the bridge over the Schuylkill Hill, his eyes everywhere, but on the P&W trolley trestle. And the people, most of them he did not know by name or face, yet they revealed themselves to him even as they slept. He knew them by their windows and cars and porches and toys they left outside. But most of all, he knew them by their backyards. Flowers, weeds, junk, pet houses, tree houses, vegetable gardens, rubber tires, grass ranging from desert sparse to shaggy to trim to a mariner's haircut. The backyards were as different, as individual as faces. Yet East End and West End, black and white, would begin only when the alarm clocks rang. For now, before sunrise, there were no divisions, no barriers. They were only the people, the families, the town. His town. As much his town as anyone's. He knew he could be sleeping right in the Beals house, or the Pickwells, or even the McNabs. But beyond that, for a few enchanted moments each newborn morning, he believed there was not a single home in Two Mills, not a single one, that would not happily welcome him to enter and to go upstairs to curl up between its sleepers. Maybe that's why he left his bandshell bench late one night in mid-June and went to someone's backyard on Hamilton Street. Someone whose leaf lettuce he had watched growing, quietly opened the gate, closed it behind him, and laid himself down on a white wicker love seat on the back porch. From then on, he slept in a different backyard or back porch every night. Once, finding the back door unlocked, he slept in a kitchen. Excuse me. That is the end of chapter 43 and the end of what we are going to read today. And, well, the end of what we're going to read for right now. When we come back to chapter 44, chapters 45, and chapter 46, we are going to finish the book on the next video. So, stay healthy, stay safe, stay home, and until we see you again, love you guys. Have fun.